everyone, and welcome to This Week at Shrouded, episode 67. We've got a great show for you today. I'm your host, AGreener, with our co-host, Bebo and Mister Wrecked. Thanks for being here. Woo!
Heyo.
Woo! We can't have that one guy come back and tell us we don't have enough energy. So
High energy,
baby. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Thanks for listening and or watching, whether you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, or your favorite podcast of choice. We can be found anywhere. Make sure to check us out. This is the best Destiny, the only Destiny 2 podcast on the internet, right? Yeah? Okay.
That's what I heard.
That's a fact. That's 100% fact. Okay, first
Allegedly.
No, you're ruining it.
Oh, it's a fact. Just don't look it up, and it's
exactly. It's a fact. All right, so we're gonna start off the podcast today.
This week at Shroud is intended to be a work of satire and not a work of fact. Thank you.
It's a work of fact.
Is that a disclaimer?
We're gonna. I didn't hear anything. We're gonna start this week's podcast by announcing our silver winners for the week. 2300 silver winners. We try to give two away every week. Sometimes we miss them, but most of the time we don't. So this week's winners is Dredgen Scarlet and the Big Sexy. Congratulations, 2300 silver for the both of you. You messaged me in Discord, AGreener, and I'll give you a link to fill out some stuff, and then you get free silver, which is awesome. Woo! I know these two people are in the Discord and they know who I am, so that'll be easy. But if you're a listener to the podcast and you're not in our Discord, makes it hard to message me in Discord. So you should check us out, shroudedgaming.com/Discord. Get you right in there. We're a huge Destiny community. We'd love to have you. And join one of our clans and be amazing and all that stuff. Or you can just chill and LFG and win some silver. It's up to you. Doesn't matter. But we'd love to have you. Swing by. Unless you're an asshole, then we don't want you. Stay away.
If you are an asshole, join Sevens.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't ask why we have Bebo here if I don't like assholes, but yeah, he's pretty good. He's a pretty good admin sometimes. Once in a while. As long as when he's not doing taxes. That is, of course. All right. Well, as for stuff that we're going to talk about today, we are going to talk about the very short TWID that Bungie dropped. Not a lot of stuff going on in there. Some raid changes. That's about it. Maybe because there's so little in there, we'll talk about some known issues. Then we're going to talk about this clock. What else do people call it other than a clock? Just numbers?
They keep calling it a clock or saying that it's not a clock.
That's it. There's no other word for it. Okay, we're going to talk about... We're not going to talk about it yet, but we're going to talk about the discourse on the Twitters about whether or not the dual Destiny mission mechanics are a clock or not. And we're also going to talk about how stupid people are because they don't know how to read an analog clock. Now, it's 2024. Learn how to read a clock, you weirdos. People still use them, okay?
I thought the point was that we wouldn't have to... We've come so far that we wouldn't have to resort back to those...
Look, even my digital watch has an analog display because I'm cool like that.
Your watch is just a hipster trying to be something that is really not, so I don't know how I feel about that.
I choose it, okay? It can be digital or analog. I prefer analog because they're better. And then what else did we say we were going to talk about? I forget now.
GM Excision, I guess.
Oh, GM Excision, yes. The catalyst for the sword. Fuck, I forget now. What's that called? All over the place. Ergo what?
Ergo sum.
That's what. Okay.
So
all right.
What?
Oh shit! You want to talk about Hawk Tua girl? Bebo doesn't know what I'm talking about. Oh my god, she's an internet phenomenon. Have you not seen that shit?
I don't know what she has to do with Destiny, but yes, she is an internet phenomenon.
You should look that up. Seriously,
she's on the internet telling people that you got to give it the good old Hawk Tua. You know what I'm saying?
Where's my clip button?
Great. Please don't clip that.
I need some TikTok content.
Oh shit.
Yeah, go ahead and look it up. You can talk but yeah, it's a big thing right now. Anyway, we don't really need to talk about it. I just thought I'd bring it up. Should be a media point. I was gonna do that. I just haven't downloaded it yet. Yeah, we're definitely gonna add that as a media point video. 100%.
Fuck. I fell into Greener's fucking trap.
You did it straight up, like.
Yeah, you fucking nailed it too. I'll tell you
Yeah,
that.
yeah. He did. Anyway, that's gonna be great. That's gonna be a good one. All right. Anyway, yeah. I honestly don't know about this. Look, if you don't know about this girl, then you're not on the right place on the internet. To be frank, Bebo's loving it. I don't know.
Man.
It's a good video, to be fair.
Good.
Like her performance on that is like it's spot on. It's great. I don't know. She nailed it.
That's good. That was good.
And she's hiding from the internet right now. People are trying to find out who she is, and she's laying low because nobody's tracked her down yet.
She's not going to be able to stay secret for long.
There's no way.
It took approximately 5 minutes for people to figure out who the Oilers girl was. So.
Oh shit! Yeah, she got fucked over too.
The Oilers.
Yeah.
There was a girl that flashed during one of the Oilers games, and the internet tracked her down like instantly, and then just.
And
because
then
somebody recorded.
She made
it.
a video that was basically like, "So I showed my tits at an Oilers game. So what?
Leave me alone." You know.
I think that's different and easier to track down because she's seated somewhere and you could track down the purchase of the ticket. And
maybe that's what
backtrack.
makes it easier. It gives a look.
But just a random on the street where you don't even know. Well, I don't know.
They'll find her. There's all those TikTokers out there that are just like, "Hey, look at this security footage. This guy tried to rape somebody. Can we find him?" And then they do and send the police. Like almost everything. Like people find them. They're like, "Oh yeah, that's my brother-in-law." And and then they get fucked. Yeah. Supposedly she's been an hour north of me. Johnny, let's go.
Oh man, that's
all right. You're being creepy.
That's a goodie. Thank you for that.
I'm being creepy.
That was creepy. Moving on.
Okay.
Moving on.
All right. Show me in the post show. I'm putting that on the screen. I'll add it as a media thing afterwards, but yeah. Oh man, people are gonna play the hell out of that. I bet. At least for like 2 weeks.
Ooh, great! Yay!
Calm down.
So how did we get here? What were we talking about?
Well, we were talking about ergo sum. You said ergo sum D's nuts. Yeah. And then the way you said it reminded me of Hawk 2.
All right. Okay. So yeah. We're starting.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we start with GM Excision because that was the big thing this week.
So GM Excision came out and the server shit the bed again.
Chicken errors. It was nothing but cock when you tried to log in.
Jesus Christ, man! One day we can monetize our lives. All right, so
I gotta go change the thumbnail to nothing but cock.
Oh no, that sounds terrible.
Right.
Okay, so yes, basically, I know Souls, for example, are we got a team together right at 1 o'clock Eastern. We're all in voice chat. We're ready to go. We almost had enough. We almost had 2 people or 2 groups. We only had 20, so we're a little bit short, but we can grab a couple. Could have grabbed a couple other people, and then we all sat in there trying to get in for an hour before we all said, "Let's come back in another hour and try again." And let me tell you, when you get 20 souls into a voice chat, things go downhill really quickly. Really quickly, and the chat just turned into an entire blast of increasingly inappropriate gifs that just got more and more borderline as they went down, and then everybody in the chat was just laughing. And I mean, so it was fun team building experience, and it was great. Everyone enjoyed themselves. But I was kind of annoyed, to be honest. And I don't usually get annoyed with server issues, but I was like, fuck, I just want to do this GM Excision. I got stuff to do today. It was a Tuesday, so I had to stream to get ready for.
I would have been
know
annoyed if I was stuck in a chat full of 20 Zoomers as well.
they're not all Zoomers.
They're pretty
Come on
much all
now.
Zoomers. That's what Souls
Whatever
is all
that
about.
experience. was.
Hans is pretty old, I think. Or Love Train, whatever you guys call him now. I still call him Hans. Ginge was in there. She was pretty reasonable, and I don't think she's as old as me, but she has like a 12-year-old, so she must be at least like 30, right? I don't know. I guess I'm making assumptions, but why'd you shake your head like that?
30? Like I'm almost 30, bro. Like 12-year-old? I don't know.
Well, some people have
You're
kids when
assuming-
they're 18.
Well, you're
19
assuming
years
she
old.
had it at 18?
All I said was at least 30 minimum.
Yeah.
Okay?
So
I
you-
assume she wasn't younger than 18. I could also be wrong with that. Anyway, that wasn't the point. That was the point. There were some old people in there. What was I trying to say? Now I feel bad for calling them old. The only reason I think Love is older is because he's like retired, but it's from being handicapped or something, not actually being old. I don't really know. I don't know. He got hurt.
Whatever.
Is that-
If I had dipped in there, I would have surely have been the oldest person in there. I saw you all in there,
Yeah,
but
probably.
I was like, "There's way too many." Listen, I like the Souls crew, I do, but there's a certain point where you get enough people in there that it reaches critical mass for me, and I just got to stay out because
no,
the
I
chat
agree with
is
you.
going to be chat gone wild.
I definitely like Souls a lot less now than I did before Tuesday. Like I'm old. That shit gets obnoxious, man. And I thought Matt was growing up a little bit, but after being in the chat with him, I'm like, nah, dog. Nah, he's just as bad as he was 2 years ago. So maybe one day. I don't know. We'll see. I'm trying to remember all the other people in there. Some people are pretty chill. Brooke's pretty chill. Reaper goes on and off. Some days he's chill, some days he's insane, just like the rest of them.
To be fair, any clan gets up to that many, and things start to get a little bit wonky because people then start to try to one up each other, and it just quickly descends to the realm of I've either got to leave or I've got to start banning people. Oh. Bebo's taking an intermission. So did you manage to get in to GM Excision?
We did probably. So, like I said, we tried for about an hour, and then we decided to come back in an hour. And then when we came back in an hour, we got in about 30 minutes after that. So probably around 4 Eastern, I would say. It's probably when we made it in. And the highest person, we didn't realize it was 2040, first off.
Yeah.
So the highest person we had was Brooke, and Brooke was sitting around 2005. So we all got pulled in 40 power under at 2000.
Yeah.
And we weren't really dialed in the first 5 minutes, and we just got completely fucking annihilated.
Yeah. All right. So you experienced the zone in, and then everybody like dies, like a fucking scene from like The Patriot or something. Just your line sets up, and then it just people start falling down. Yeah.
That shit was fucking D-Day in Destiny, man. We dropped right in, just fucking totally annihilated by like Nightfire and shit. Oh, and like the Axiom darts and what?
The snipers, dude. You zone in,
yeah.
and sometimes before you've even fully loaded, you're dead because a sniper hits you in the face.
Anyway, so we totally got wrecked, and then we're like, okay, let's dial it in a little bit. And then we did much better as soon as we started focusing and going in. But minus 40 under was pretty fun. And to be honest, that was a lot of fun to do it that low under with 12 people, because we had to work together. It wasn't too easy. We had to do the proper call outs, and we had to focus on champions and We got through. We started-
strategize, like
yeah, not too much, but we had to talk to one another, and we had to focus on certain bosses and enemies to get through.
you guys also have top tier players, that can kind of like in my sevens, we had to all go one side, and because we don't have that caliber of player that can maybe 3 or 4 of them go to one side and then the rest go to another side.
Wait a minute.
We stuck together. I don't know what you think. The Souls is magic. We stuck together and moved as a unit from front to mid to left to right.
Unit.
Bebo. Are you saying that 7 you 7 players suck? That you're trying to say?
That's what I heard.
I'm saying that the group I jumped in with had all aspects of life from every.
Yeah.
Yep. You're talking about your experience in BC. Couldn't have been worse than mine. I'll tell you that. I can't.
Yeah. How'd Phonic do?
About it later.
I saw him in there. He was there.
Yeah, Phonic was in there. Yeah, Phonic was fine.
Interesting.
It's more the people that aren't usually there with us.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I also died like a fucking degenerate.
I see Phonic in the chat.
All right. Anyway, yeah. I thought it was really fun. I enjoyed doing the. I enjoyed doing the encounter. We got in there. We were harmonizing. Once we buckled down and really focused, we were going through boom, 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 bang, bang, bang. But it was good. It was fun. It felt really I almost don't want to go in there and do minus. What's GM 20 or 25? I can't remember. 20. Right?
25.
Okay. So I almost don't want to ever go in and do it at 25. I thought minus 40 was just perfect for the encounter. It was really enjoyable. It was difficult. People were dying. We were having fun. We were laughing.
Did you get it done? Did the two of you get your runs done?
Yeah, we got it run. We got it done on that run. The after we got orbited in the first 10 seconds, the next run when we dialed in, we got it done.
Let me tell you about my experience.
Okay, I'm excited.
Celestials is not doing a group run until Sunday. And I after reading the forums and reading Twitter and seeing a lot of people saying, we just did it with LFG, no comms, it was fine, no big deal. I was like, all right, bet, challenge accepted. Some people fucking lied, let me tell you. So I'm perusing LFG. I'm not really paying attention to people's power levels or anything. I'm just gonna find a group and get in there, because I don't know if you've used LFG for matchmaking. Sometimes it can take a while if you don't just hit the first group that's open, right? So I'm just hitting the first group that open. I'm like, these bitches could be 1950. I don't know.
Turns out some of them were.
Anyway, I get in there.
1950 means they didn't even do legendary campaigns.
Yeah. I get in there, and when they go to launch it, the first one, the little fire team power thing blinks on me, and I'm like, oh no. Oh no. I'm not wearing all my gear that's juiced. I assumed that somebody in here was going to be a higher power level than me and pull me up. And we zone in, and literally everyone died immediately. Every single person died immediately.
Oh my god.
And then everybody started bailing on the fire team.
Of course they did.
Okay. So I'm like, all right, that's just a rough start, right? I'm going to get into another group. Surely I'm going to find one where people have tried this a few times and they know what they need to do right off the rip. So I load into another fire team. And again, I get the little icon next to my name that says, hey, you're the power leader. And I say again to myself, oh no. But at least this time I've juiced myself a little bit. And we load in. And 10 people die right off the rip. Okay. I'm alive. I've got my healing turret out because I'm wearing my speaker's helmet. I went in there fully intending to heal everybody. And I'm hiding behind a rock with my healing turret. Just healing the one other dude who's desperately trying to resurrect people who are instantly getting farmed over and over and over again, and then people just start leaving. And then I'm like, all right, third time's a charm. We're going to do this. I get into the group. This time I'm not the power leader. There's somebody that's over 2,000 power that's power leader. I'm like, all right, things are looking up. Things are looking up. We all move to orbit from the LFG, and we all load in. Only 4 people loaded into the instance. Nobody else ever loaded in. And we all died immediately. And that's when I said, all right, I don't think I'm going to be able to pull this off with LFG. I guess I'll just wait till Sunday. So, I'm really shocked that there weren't more complaints about GM level Excision not being solo friendly, like we've had, for ever since ever since Dual Destiny launched. I haven't hardly seen more than 1 or 2 complaints about it, but I don't know how anybody's getting that shit done with LFG, dude. Like, if you load into an LFG completely blind with no comms, and nobody's in a fire team in there, and you manage to do it, the very next thing you need to do is leave your house and go to the convenience store and buy a fucking lottery ticket, because you're running hot right now. That shit's never gonna happen again.
So we've gotten 2 runs in. We did like right when we got we got a couple 7s and then Wraith, and then that was like the first run we did. And then later that night we did like a 5. There was like 5 of us, and we LFG'd the rest, and we were able to get through it. So I guess like if you're gonna fill in, at least have like a core people. Yeah. But if you're trying to go in solo, that's just, I don't think that's happening, man.
I didn't really think that I was going to get a dub going in solo, but after seeing some people say they were able to do it on Twitter, I was like, I want to see what the experience is like. Now, granted, that first one when we all loaded in and everybody immediately died, that was actually where my expectations were. And I wasn't mad about it. I thought it was hella funny when it happened. But I think you're probably right. I think just going in completely solo is going to just be sheer luck if you manage to get past that first part of the encounter, because it is so easy to die when you first load into that thing. Like, super easy to just get murked immediately.
Yeah, and if you have a core of players that are already, experienced, like the strays will just follow along. So, but
yeah,
you
they
gotta
will,
get
typically.
And like at the end, I kept getting farmed, but it was essentially like Jaegophonic, X, I'm forgetting who else. But they were like the last ones left that were like finishing everything out so we could go to damage. And the guys stuck around, to their credit. They didn't leave, like the LFG guys. So like,
yeah.
They stuck around till damage phase, and then they fucking finished it. So I think it's just hard to get a group, because people just, as soon as one person leaves, it's an avalanche.
Yeah,
everyone starts leaving.
For sure.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so we talk a little bit about solo friendly and whatever. Non-matchmaking stuff is a little more non-solo friendly, but matchmaking would probably be a nightmare with this. You'd probably complete 1 in 50, maybe. Maybe it's a little more forgiving than that. Maybe not, though. Based on
dude.
Rex experience, it's 1 in 50.
Unless they capped like the power floor for you to even be able to load it, it would be a nightmare. You'd be loading in there with people that were 1980 constantly, or base 1990, and just get destroyed over and over and over again.
I think the reason there aren't as many complaints from solos is because I feel like this is the type of content that they wouldn't try jumping into. They would think it's too hard for them, and like it just doesn't feel like they would jump into it. So they're not complaining because they haven't even tried it, probably.
I would agree with you if this activity was not required for the Transcendence seal. So I do think people enjoy getting seals, even more casual solo players. And this is a requirement for the final shape seal.
So I agree with you. I would give it time for them to
Yeah.
to actually
realize.
go in and see what the title requires, and when they realize it
Maybe.
requires it, they're gonna flip. That's when they'll
Yeah.
start complaining.
Because you're right, Ergo Sum, maybe not as big a deal. The catalyst for that, by the way, if you didn't know, if you didn't hear us earlier, the completion reward is the Ergo Sum catalyst plus the Triumph that will get you the Transcendence seal, which is the seal for the final shape campaign.
No, but you definitely have a point there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to bother more people. I think that'll bother people. I think that'll bother people.
That will.
Maybe the catalyst. I don't know. The catalyst isn't huge. You get ammo for using transcendent grenades, but
I know.
Also, yeah, the Triumph.
Just a quick little tip. If you, I mean, I know next week like GMs go live, but if you're trying to get Guardian ranks up, the GM Excision counted for my Guardian rank as a completing a Grandmaster.
That's cool.
So
just do that again. It's probably easier than any other GM.
Yeah, I mean, eventually you have to guild conquer if you want to keep going up the ranks. But yeah, that
I do have to guild it. What is it? It's 9 GMs this season, right? That's crazy.
But a lot of them are really easy.
Yeah, but still, I just thought that was fun. I was like, that's cool. That's cool that there's 9 of them. And it makes sense because it's the episodes are longer than the seasonal content was. So it's nice that we get 9 instead of the same 6.
Oh, you also see they updated the wild style perk pool?
Mm-hmm. Indeed, they did.
Yeah. No, I did not.
Yeah.
What did they add? Anything good?
They added reconstruction in that third column, and then they added bait and switch, vorpal. They added it was lacking an auto loading perk, and it was lacking a damage perk, and they gave them both of them. So
okay, is that I haven't really used a lot of it.
It's a double barrel.
Yeah, but is that a good for a damage?
It would be good to incorporate in a damage rotation. Yeah, it's like wild style, but solar. So.
That'll do it then. Yeah, no, that's perfect. Reconstruction and bait and switch. Boom. If you've got another bait and switch weapon that you're using, it's perfect. Obviously, because you're going to be rotating through your things anyway. So.
Only thing I'm thinking about now is that Still Hunt is in that same slot.
Well, yeah, but if you're not a hunter, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well, some non-hunters might not use it, but it's way better with Celestial than any other class. All right, so we talked about that enough. GM Excision, I thought it was pretty fun. Maybe not an LFG type activity, but fun nonetheless. If you can get a group of people together to do it, and then once you get up to 20, once you get up powerful enough to do it minus 25, you definitely don't even need 12 people to complete. And if you can find 12 people, maybe that'll make the LFG far more doable. Once the power leader hits, once people get to 2020 or 2015, 2015. No, they need to be 2020 to get everyone else to 2015. Yeah, so. It might be more doable at that point in LFG than it is currently because everyone's loading in at. Well, you were saying, Wrecked, you were the highest power in some of yours, and what were you? What were you?
I was running at 1998, 1999.
So people were loading in almost 50 power under the GM level. So 50 power under. That's 48. Let's say 48 power under, which is pretty brutal. Yeah. We did it at 40 with, I'll say what Bebo said, but with some pretty good players. And
what was the highest in yours?
2005. So it pulled us all in at 2000 because you go 5 under the power leader.
I think we were higher because I was 2010.
Whoa. Well, did you get pulled up or were you the power leader?
I believe I was a power leader.
That
I
means
was at
somebody else was our.
2011 or
Oh,
2010.
you were the power leader. Okay, so
Yeah.
you were 2010. Everybody else in your fire team was 2005,
I think
unless they were
around
hired
those numbers.
2005, and then they get to keep their own.
Uh.
Okay, that's pretty good. Anyway, like I said, once people are getting up to 2020, that's going to pull everybody up to 2015. It's going to make it a lot more manageable than an LFG at minus 45, minus 50, right? Just an LFG at minus 25 is hopefully it makes it more manageable for some people that can't get 12 people together to complete it. We'll see. I don't know. I might never play it again. There's not really a purpose other than for fun.
I think
Or maybe-
it'll be
maybe
a
to
fun
get a team-
activity like with
maybe
a bunch of clan members just let's do a 12 man.
Maybe we'll do some. I'll get souls to do some GM Excision carries. We'll get 10 or 8 souls in there, and we'll carry 4 people at a time.
What I believe we're doing tonight.
Oh, that
We're
sounds
trying
fun.
to do tonight. So
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Either way. So yeah, GM Excision, big win. I think another fun activity, another W from Bungie. They're just dropping W bombs. This whole expansion, and then the one that they fucked up. We're about to get into to say that they 3/4 fixed it. 3/4 fixed it. And that's what's in This Week in Destiny. The main thing to talk about really is the raid and dungeon updates. They've heard the internet complain about the -5 modifier and the surges. So they have effectively removed surges, but not removed surges in the way that you would assume would happen. Basically, they're going to make everything surge every week. So you're not limited to... Basically, now hunters will be forever on still hunt because their solar weapons are incredibly powerful. Yeah, that's a big win for Bungie. Some people are still mad that the -5 in there, and it does make Sherpas harder and whatnot. But so instead of being like 33% lower, shit, I don't know what I'm even talking about anymore.
yeah, they put up a table.
Yeah,
like,
they put up a thing. So when they did the -5 power cap, the outgoing damage dropped to dropped 33%. If you use the stuff with the surge on it, it dropped to minus 15%. So basically, what we're getting now is going to be minus 15 across the board, no matter what you're using, as opposed to the damage you were doing before the final shape. Yeah, that's your outgoing. So instead of being minus 33 for most of the stuff and minus 15 for a couple things, you're just going to be minus 15 for everything, as opposed to minus 33. So it's still going to be a bit of a struggle for some people to get used to, but I think minus 15 is I think removing the surges was the right call. Let people use what they want to use on a weekly basis. I did see an interaction that was ironic, though. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
This was for you, Salt. Salt, I love you, man. I love you, but this is for you. So he talked about it, saying "Big W." Da, da, da. You know how people they attack Salt because he's Salt, right? So somebody commented on that said, I really like the fact that Bungie was making us change our load ups every week so we can try new things and da 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 da. And whatever, that's fine. It's Salt, unironically, I assume, said. Maybe he said it ironically. But he said, you still have that option. And the reason that I find this incredibly ironic is because when he used to complain about Div before it got nerfed, people would tell him that he had the option not to use it. He could use whatever he wanted to. And then he would say, why would I not use what's meta? Anyway, so basically he just used the same argument. So he's either saying ironically or unironically. If it's unironic, then you fucking ass. You're fucking asshole. If he's saying it ironically, he's a pretty clever guy. I like that.
I think it's unironic because
I agree.
I think it's unironic too.
Salt is involved in the low man community, and the surge, the surges mostly impacted the low man community. They were disproportionately affected compared to everybody else. Now, I will say that on the surface, I don't care about surges. It's whatever. You just switch guns and use whatever you got to do, whatever you need to use. But I'm saying that as a player with almost 9,000 hours and a vault that's overflowing with options, right? When you're doing a Sherpa for somebody and there's surges, you can't just simply say, bring a sword to this encounter. Because they might not have a sword that matches the surge. In which case it might be better to use something else. And they might not have anything that matches the surge to begin with. Somebody is watching an AI video, an AI music video of Hawk 2 Girl, I'll bet you right now. That's what you're watching, isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it, Greener? That's what was just playing on your phone. You know how I know? I was just watching that same video. You're on Twitter.
Shit. Holy shit.
Oh, shit, that's hilarious.
You know, it's funny. That's the second time. That's the second time today Greener's been there's having a moment like this where I'm being a fucking wizard to whatever Greener's up to.
That's funny. Yeah, it was the first thing that popped up on Twitter, and I clicked it. I couldn't even hear the audio because of my headset. And then I heard, but then I heard I heard a little bit of the noise. And I'm like, oh no, they definitely heard that over the mic.
So anyway, I think the surges make it more difficult to do Sherpas.
Yes, absolutely.
So, but now we're back to the mode where everybody's just going to use the most optimal things all the time, and some characters are just going to feel bad to play in certain things because you're not going to be able to keep up, especially now until Still Hunt gets nuked. Because anybody that doesn't think Still Hunt is going to get nuked either in the mid-season patch or later in the year is crazy. It's definitely going to happen. It won't be long before they strip the ability of Nighthawk to work with it or vastly reduce the ability, the bonus that Nighthawk's giving it. So,
okay. Well, I'll tell you my thoughts on this surge thing. I am absolutely ecstatic that they are giving surges to everything. I love the fact that they kept -5 because we're like as strong as we've ever been. So like you have to make the game harder. Otherwise we're just gonna blow through content. But now the reason I'm so excited is we can actually damage test accurately and see what actually is like the best damage in the game. Because currently like it's like, oh well, this week it's this surge, so it's hard to compare numbers. Obviously you can do the math, take away the 25. Yeah, it's annoying, and then people are like, oh, was this on the surge week, whatever.
You can do that in different encounters and still get it. You don't have to do it in a raid, right?
I mean, in dungeons we're also
you don't have to do it in a dungeon. Most damage testing happens in lost sectors, and the damage scaling in lost sectors tends to be pretty much the same as the damage scaling is in other activities. That's how we know that Still Hunt and Golden Gun isn't actually the highest DPS rotation in the game. Euphemy on a Strand Warlock actually is the highest DPS in the game, right?
Yeah, I heard it's pretty good.
Yeah, a Swarm. But I mean, at most damage rotations, like testing that I've seen, happens in dungeons and raids.
A lot of people do it on the Ogre and
the Ogre on Grasp is one.
Yeah.
There's Templar on Vault of Glass. Which one? I like doing, usually because I'm solo, I like doing Warlord's boss. It's an easy damage phase to just start. Like if you're trying supers or something. If I'm doing swords, I go to Warlord's first encounter and that stuff. But like this whole surge problem would not have been a problem if they kept everything the same and just let us do give us the master encounters of everything, like with the weekly surge, like how they usually do, but just give us give us let me do master whenever I want. Why do I have to wait?
Oh, are we talking about this rotation shit again?
Yes, bro. Yes. How is that not changed yet, bro? How, Bungie?
Because Salt hasn't complained about it.
Yeah, he has.
I'm just kidding. That was a joke.
Oh my god, it's so annoying. I don't even want to get started. I just had to say it. I just had to say it, but I'm not gonna get into it because I'm gonna get mad. But yeah, please just let me load into the master dungeon raid I want. I don't understand. It's not like all of them have a master encounter anyway. So like,
yeah,
you know?
Is there a dungeon right now? Is the most recent dungeon always still
Heresy.
master? Okay, but I'm just so now that we're in the next season, Warlords isn't always master.
It'll be I think you can load into master until the next dungeon drops.
Correct.
Okay, so Warlords is still you can still do master whenever you want, but everything else is on rotation.
It's not farmable, I think, but you can do it. Like last season, you could load into
you
it
can do
on
it every
master
week.
and just get loot over and over and over again. Like you get artifice gear over. I don't know if you can do that.
Oh wait,
this season.
okay. So what you're saying is it was farmable last season, not this season.
I think.
You don't know. You don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
but
fine.
I think it's like that.
Okay, and then we're gonna have Master Salvation's Edge next week
on Tuesday. Yeah.
I won't be doing that right away. I'm good.
I still
With
gotta
that
get
said, I
another
did.
one.
Even though I was away the week after Salvation Edge dropped, so after doing day 1 and doing the first 3 encounters on the first day of non-contest mode, I was able to get in and complete a full raid this Wednesday that went by, and it's good. I don't know. I don't think it's good as everyone was saying, but it's pretty fun. Enjoyable. I can see the first 3 encounters getting really fucking boring after a while, because they're basically the same thing over and over again. I know a lot of raids are like that, but Ron, every encounter is exactly the same except for the 3rd one.
I forgot who it was that I was listening to that mentioned that it's like the last encounter, the witness, got all of the mechanics from the raid itself and just said, fuck it, you're not doing any of that. And it almost doesn't feel like an encounter within the same raid because the mechanics like don't really sort of match up. Yes, like the symbols are there, but it's like
the same as the 4th encounter. There's nothing in the 4th encounter that's the same as
let's talk about the 4th encounter for a moment. All right, that's the one I personally have the most problems with, and that's because people that try to explain this shit verbally all suck. I'm sorry. Listen, a number of people have explained it to me verbally, and it just doesn't sink in, right? But the first time I went and read an actual written guide, like a purposeful written, dumbed down version of the guide, then everything's clear. But that's not even the biggest problem with that. So I've run this thing a couple of times now. And Grim, I'm not saying you suck at explaining. You explain things fine. The problem is here's ultimately the problem. The first time I ran the raid, we start the raid, and it shows you that first screen where you see all 6 guardians. All right. I see 5 guardians and 1 invisible guardian. And then somewhere in the first encounter, now all of a sudden the second guardian's invisible. Or the first encounter, someone's invisible. Then at the second encounter, now there's 3 guardians that are invisible. By the time I got to the 4th encounter, every other guardian was invisible and there were no statues visible to me at all. Okay, so I'm like, all right, I'm just going to restart my console or restart the game. There's probably a memory leak issue because Lord knows Bungie can't make a game without fucking memory leaks every 45 seconds. So I load in, everything looks good. We run up to the back of the room, get the encounter started. I see shadows on the back wall. I get sucked into my own room. You know what's missing from my own room? The shadow on the back wall. All the ads, they have shadows. I have a shadow if I look down. Is there a shadow on the wall showing me symbols flashing back and forth? No. There's no... I die. I get sucked back out to the main room. There's shadows on the wall! What the fuck, Bungie?
You nailed that.
And this has happened multiple times. Every single time I've gone to the fourth encounter, somebody has no fucking shadows on the back wall when they get sucked into that encounter. I don't know what it is. I don't know why Bungie can't get their fucking shit straight with their fucking networking bullshit, memory leak, dumbass issues, fucking... Stop using your outsourced Accenture fucking programmers to do some shit and rehire some developers. Holy fucking shit. Anyway. The fourth encounter is not a piece of shit because the encounter is difficult or hard to understand. It's a piece of shit because Bungie cannot fucking handle running a MMO style game with fucking peer-to-peer connection. With games that if you run a 30 series card will completely bug out on you on a number of hours. And if you run a 40 series card, you only get half the time before the game won't run anymore. Anyway.
How's that new computer treating you there, right?
Yeah, treating you real good. I got a 3070. I've never had an issue in that encounter.
Anyway, those issues really irritate me, and the invisible players and the invisible guns, that shit is fucking everywhere. But it's more prevalent in activities that you run with more people. So in Excision, it's everywhere. Like I was just running Excision last night just to get my pinnacles knocked out, and every single one I had invisible guns, which are annoying as fuck to use. And if you try to step into PvP, there is going to be at least one invisible player in every match, and or you're going to have no reticle on your gun because you can't even see your fucking gun. It's dumb. It's dumb. Bungie needs to sort this shit out. I don't know what... When the game had more concurrent players all the time, we had less issues like this. I don't know what changed to make these issues so pronounced now. I want to say it's just rose-colored glasses looking back, but I don't remember the sheer amount of this shit going on just a few months ago. So, anyway.
Yeah, okay. So, I had fun doing the raid. I learned it, and I had fun. And I kind of whiffed on the witness a few times. So I was actually like, oh, this is actually like most raids I don't even have to think. It's become second nature. But maybe this one will too over time. But I don't know. Ron never really did that to me. Crota, none of that stuff. It's just maybe Oryx, but I never did King's Fall in D1. So anyway. Point is, I thought it was fun. I can't wait to get some more under my belt because I've only at this point, like I've only completed it once. So, and that was on Wednesday. It was good.
I will say, Rick, when I got to fourth encounter, we were going through it the first couple of times. They kept telling me like you have to look at your guardian and see what he's holding, and I'm like, there's no guardian, and they're not holding anything. I don't understand what you guys are telling me. And they were legitimately mad at me. And then I'm sharing my screen and they're like, there's supposed to be someone there that you can see. And we did it like 5 or 6 times. And they just kept yelling at me because like, bro, like you have to tell us what you have. And I'm like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. So I was in that same
situation.
Yeah, and I didn't understand. And then when I loaded back in and I saw everything, I was like, holy shit, bro. Like there was no way I was gonna understand anything. I could like.
I've got a screen cap of the raid I did with Grim where it's literally just 5 floating names and some guns floating in space, but nothing else because I had them all line up by their statues and there's nothing. There's a gun and a name. That's it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. All right. Ba-bum-bum. Yeah, so all good. And you know something I didn't know? Anyway, we're done talking about Salvation's Edge. It's good. Hopefully they can fix the bugs. Something I didn't know is that we have such a high damage boost to damage in dungeons now.
Yeah.
I never knew that we were doing 28% more damage. Am I crazy?
No.
That shit's nuts.
I mean, they explained all that in
I know, but I pretty yeah, I didn't read that. Anyway, now I see it, and that's cool. And that'll be all weapons now because they're making the changes to dungeons as well. So 28% damage across the board, baby. Let's go. Huge. Okay. Those numbers are just yeah, okay, whatever. I don't care.
Damage scale and everything else is different. Yes.
Well, then why'd they only show us this garbage?
Because red bars are the majority of enemies. Duh.
Yeah, but the only thing anyone cares about is bosses.
No, that's not true. When your damage is cut down to fucking nothing, people care about the red bars because the red bars are the ones that are eating their ass most of the time, not the boss.
I love getting my ass eaten.
I'll bet you do. Get that drag right up in there.
All right, whatever. So Salvation's Edge Master Difficulty launched on the 25th. We talked about it earlier, along with Nightfall's returning. The Glassway is the featured Nightfall. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Have they told us when we get to use our node yet? Or is it 7 week again? Week 7 again.
Wasn't it turned on right away up front last time?
I can't remember.
I could have sworn last season it was turned on.
Yeah, it might have been.
Right from the get-go.
Mira? What?
How close to you? How close are you guys to Pinnacle Cap?
Nowhere near.
I reached it like yesterday, I think.
Reset 2,000 power only in all slots. That's what I'm talking about. Pinnacle Cap, Pinnacle Power. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm missing one class item and then I'm done.
If you so it's account wide, so you could have like I reached it before my hunter actually was all 2,000. That makes any sense?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. How do you feel about that change? I think
the power scaling makes it easier to do power scaling, and you don't have to worry about gap filling nearly as much. You know, unless you know, the gap filling is the only time to even worry about gap filling is if you need to do a particular activity that not everybody's power leveled for, and then you know you only need to do your deeply negatives when you're looking at like dim or whatever. I think it makes it a lot more easy to do your power grind, and there's a lot more opportunities for you to fill that spot that you're missing, since you know Pinnacles on any character can do it.
From the way I leveled up this season, I guess it was more like a learning experience for me. I don't know if this was like common knowledge or whatever, but it's definitely easier on your second character that you play through. So like I started campaign and did everything first on my Titan, which is my main. And then when I went through on my hunter, he's just gotten everything like he's the highest level character that I have, so I guess like for next time just start it on a different character and then follow through with my main, I guess, is the way to go.
Depends on how much time you want to spend doing it, right? I still like to launch on my Titan on up front because that's just what I always do, even though the Titan is typically the character I want to have the highest power. But My experience mostly was, I was at 1992 general power level on Tuesday this week, and I'm at 2000 now, just from doing pinnacles over a couple of days. Now, admittedly, that means that my drops were mostly where I needed them to be, right? Otherwise, it wouldn't have happened that way. But Hoppy and I just ran through pinnacles for a couple of nights, and by the time it was done, Warlords was the champ for me, dude. Because
that's what I was gonna say.
Warlord is like, you need armor? I got your armor. You need a class item? Here it is. You need arms? Here, have 2 of them. All right, I don't need 2, but thanks. You know what I mean? It was great. It was great. So, and considering I only ran the dungeon once for pinnacles. The fact that I was able to bridge 8 points in 1 week without even really factoring in a whole raid, pretty good.
Yeah, Warlords gives you 4 pinnacle drops.
Yeah, because you get there's the pinnacle for just completing Warlords on top of them all being pinnacle drops the first time through.
Yeah, and like all you have to do is like as soon as you get a higher item, you don't even have to infuse it. You just equip it on your character, and then you take it off again, and it'll like already register that you had that like level item in that slot.
I don't even think you have to put it on. I think it just takes into account right away.
I'm not sure, probably, but I like to.
Hey man, whatever your ritual is that you want to follow to make it.
You don't have to put them on.
No.
I think so. Like the way I thought, well, maybe it was because dim is slow, but in dim it wouldn't appear unless like I had equipped it.
That's because
like,
dim wasn't updating.
Yeah, that's just dim's refresh slow to the API. You don't have to install. You don't have to equip them.
Yeah, but I guess my ritual is so I can see how high my light level is and look at the nice pretty number, and then. Okay,
there are still some people out there that think that the only gear that counts for what you get drops is the shit you're actually wearing. There are still people that unironically still actually believe that, even though it hasn't mattered for years. That shit could all be in your postmaster and it would still get counted.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, it do. All right. Clock.
Yeah, let's talk about Twitter. Let's talk about Twitter and let's talk about clocks.
Okay. All right. Dual Destiny. Everybody. I don't know. It's just another thing. It's a disagreeing factor on Twitter right now that the 2 last encounter thingies in Dual Destiny is a clock. It's not a clock. So you've got a bunch of content creators that are saying it is a clock. Well, I don't know if there's a bunch, but Glad says it's a clock. All right. And then other people say it's not. And then the expansion lead designer says it's a clock. And that just started a shitstorm when she agreed. She was like, it's a clock.
Didn't she say
she said it's a clock.
Which one was she referring to?
They're both the same.
The last one, no. Well, the last one is a clock.
The first one is just a clock that has the top punched off of it.
This is the debate, all right? This is how the debate is framed. If you're going to read the last one as a clock, and the first one also happens to be in kind of a circular format with stuff that's relatively in the same location, why would you count them any different on the first encounter than the second encounter? That is what people argue. And you know what that argument is to me? An R word that I'm not going to actually say because it's probably TOS or some bullshit. We're not on Kick. Anyway, it's fucking retarded. That's what it is. All right?
Yeah.
Why did you say it after saying you wouldn't say it?
Well, because of the look on your face. Greener was judging me. It's stupid. It's dumb. There's no reason to count the second one, 2 through 10, if it's going to confuse people. They're 2 different encounters.
Wait, why don't they just read them both like a clock?
What do you mean? The last one is a clock. There's no way around
Yeah,
it. That's a
yeah, I
clock
know. But
period.
if you look at the first one, it's the same thing without like, I don't know the exact numbers, but it's missing the
3.
11, 12, and 1, right? So just
Correct,
don't
yeah.
don't use those numbers. Start at 2 and go to 10.
Here's
then-
my.
If you're reading
It's
the
so
clock,
easy.
start at 12 and go to 12. You know.
The thing that's confusing about that is that, like, when you look at it, the 5th one down is actually 6 o'clock. So, like, I feel like when you look at it, you're like, oh, 6, but it's actually the 5th node.
Only if you're an idiot. If it's pointing straight down, you should know immediately
Greener.
that it's a
Correct.
6.
Let me ask you something, Greener.
6.
What?
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Bebo. Go ahead, Bebo.
No, I wanted to see what you were gonna ask.
Greener. If you take 7 marbles or 9 marbles and you put them in a line on the table in front of you.
I'm
Okay.
visualizing it. Yeah.
Okay, just a straight line.
Yeah.
How are you going to read those? If I told you need to put them in numbered order,
1 through 9.
you need to give these a call out. All right, and it needs to be numbers. All right, 1 through 9. Okay, now take those same marbles, keep their spacing to one another, their horizontal spacing the same, but change their pattern vertically up and down. So move some of them up, move some of them down, but they're still in the same order horizontally. I ask you to give them a number and read them if we need to do calls for them. How are you going to do those call outs?
Okay, well,
1 through 9, I'm guessing.
It's
yeah, but
same.
ironically, when we did it, you made me count out the
Now,
opposite way.
now put them in a half circle.
Yeah, yeah.
And why would you change that?
I'm not
this
changing
point.
it, but I get it. But if you started in the clock and went backwards,
Nobody knew there was a clock in the final encounter the first time they had that encounter.
oh my god!
And
okay,
I
it's fine.
guarantee
Okay, hold on.
everybody did 1 through 9 left to right.
But 1 through 9, left to right. We did it the other way.
You and I did do it right to left, but that's because there was somebody that I'd been playing with that specifically asked to do it that way. And I
Okay,
was like,
so the other
whatever.
people doing it 1 through 9,
Left
from
to
left
right.
to right.
Yeah,
Okay,
how
that
you
makes more
read.
sense. Because that's why I was confused with the way you were explaining it to me, because I was like, we counted it the different direction when we did our run. But okay, that's fine. Yeah, all right, 1 through 9, whatever. Where's the 1 in the clock, like the full clock room? What's 1?
At 1.
At
1
1,
o'clock.
the entire array is actually a clock. And so it makes sense to call them out as clock numbers there. But I will tell you what, when I'm reading those numbers, I don't necessarily read them 1 through 12. If it lights up and it's like 10, 11, 12, 2, and 6, I'm starting at 10 and reading around. Because it's a clock face, right? And everybody should understand what an analog clock face. But here's the secret that I have learned from running Dual Destiny. Many, many times now, I have something like 60 class items in my vault right now with many different people. And what I have learned is that young and old, seasoned human beings and freshly hatched children, and as far as that goes in Destiny, nobody these days can fucking read an analog clock. Nobody. I will call out the numbers with some of these people, and they will go, and then the numbers will change. And then I'll call out new numbers, and they'll go, and then I'll say, pull up a clock on your monitor while we're doing this, for the love of God.
Wait, okay, so
That's the best way of doing it. Having both of you share screens and then both standing there and looking at each other's screens. That's how I've been doing it. It's just the best way. I know not everyone can do that, but ideally, I think that's just the best.
Who can't read an analog clock, Bebo?
No, but why is this difficult? Like, I never knew what I was doing. We were learning on the fly, and you were just like, "Here, here's the numbers. Which one's missing?" And I'm like, "Oh, 3." That's crazy to me that people can't do that. But I mean, teach their own. I'm curious. I gotta ask this question before I forget it.
Yeah.
We're doing 1 through 9 on the first encounter, starting at 10, and 9 ends on
2.
2, right?
Yeah. If it were a clock, yes.
But yes. But then when we get to the final encounter, is the consensus to read it like a clock? Now that it's a full
a clock. Because
so we're switching the numbers?
Why does it matter?
Between encounters?
What does it matter?
It should be the same.
Why?
What? For consistency.
How many? Why? What does it matter? What does consistency matter between 2 encounters?
It's not consistent because it
all
doesn't.
Right, let's
have
run
the same
Ron
number of
all
nodes.
different ways in every encounter. It is consistent. If you just draw the notches on your monitor, you're good, right? You could do it then. If you just drew the extra notches where they would be,
Greener, you know what I just realized?
and then you'd be able to read it.
Greener must also be the guy that's like, don't call out the missing ones, call out the ones that are lit up, and we'll just figure out which ones are matching.
No, why would you figure? Wait, you're the one that was calling out, and you called out all the ones that were lit up, and then I picked the yes, and then I picked the one that didn't match, and I told you what number to shoot. So you'd say like 2, 4, 6, 8, and then the ones that matched was 6, and I'd say 6.
I would call out 3 numbers.
That's in the last encounter.
Okay, 3.
Yes, in the first one.
Because last is only 1.
Oh.
In the first 9 nodes, you have to match 3 of them. So the person will tell you the nodes that they're missing, and then you will look at yours, right? And if you have those connected, you just cross them out, right? So if they have 2, 3, 4, right? And I have 1, 2, 5, 6, right? I will cross out 2 because they don't have 2, and then it'll be 1, 5, 6.
The call out you just examined, that is right, but it's probably a little bit more complex than it needs to be for an explanation. This is how I explain it to new people. I go there. It doesn't matter if you're going left to right or right to left. All right. Okay. You just figure out how you're calling the numbers. All right. It's right. I always do 1 through 9, and it's either left to right or right to left. My group is always doing it right to left because that's how somebody started doing it, and I just like whatever. I don't care. It's not as difficult on your brain on the fly as trying to switch up the numbering system entirely to 2 to 10, for me anyway. The example is, I look at the array, and the ones that are missing for me are 1, 2, and 3. When you look at the array, the ones that are missing for you are 4, 5, and 6. All right. So if I call 1, 2, 3, when you're looking at your array, you're going to say, okay, I'm going to ignore 1, 2, and 3. I can ignore the ones that I don't see, and I'm going to call out the ones that are left, which would be 7, 8, 9. Right? I think that's right. Yeah, 7, 8, 9. Mm-hmm. And that's just how the encounter runs, right? While I was explaining to somebody, there was somebody in the chat that was trying to explain that you should do it by matching. And I was like, no, we're not doing that. Because you could do it that way. You could call out all the numbers you see, and the other person could just tell you which ones they have that match, and that would still work. But I think it's easier to call out the missing numbers. The second encounter, I don't know why people are insisting that if you're going to do it one way in one encounter, it needs to be the same in the other encounter as well. The encounters are completely different. The arrays look completely different. It doesn't hurt anybody to do one way and do the clock like a fucking clock. Unless you can't read a clock, which we know like 90% of Destiny players can't.
You also just have to shoot 1 at a time, not like 3 of them. So like, it's also a different mechanic per se.
All right, this is not a Sherpa podcast. We're good.
All I'm saying is if you can't handle the numbers, if you can't handle the numbers being 1 through 9, they have to be 2 through 10, because the clock is 1 through 12 in the last encounter. Your brain is the size of a fucking walnut that you can't differentiate between the fucking two. Stop playing the game. Delete it right now. Delete everything in your vault. Delete your characters. Delete the game. Throw your console out the window. Smash your computer. And that's all I have to say about that.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done yelling.
All right. Imagine someone having a different opinion. Holy moly.
Listen, we got to ham it up for the clicks, right? I need people to be telling me how I'm a toxic elitist in the comments. In fact, if you're watching this stream live, when the video posts, please go out there and say how Mr. Wrecked is being a toxic elitist, all right? And make sure you put the timestamp of when I'm being a toxic elitist so people will go and watch it. Because Greener needs some more runtime, and this is near the end of the show.
I have a headache. I'm just kidding. Okay, anyway, I've got no problem doing 1 through 9 first and then clock on the second. Okay. All right. Just chill. You guys, you're being too dramatic. I've also
I'm getting sucked into that.
If somebody wanted to do a clock on both, that's fine. I would totally.
The next time I do it, I'm doing 3 to 11.
Never run that with them.
Well, I'm doing 23 to 37.
Perfect.
So
that's essentially what you're saying when you want to do it 2 through 10. So.
No, I'm not.
It's the same thing. You're just pointing out a random set of 9 numbers. So
it's not random when it. Oh my god! If you.
It's not a clock because it doesn't have.
Look, if you looked at it, never mind.
I'm doing the pizza callouts, the pepperoni through Canadian bacon.
That doesn't make any sense.
We could just do colors as well. You know, like fuck numbers. Let's just put colors on.
Do colors. Yeah.
Do the color wheel or something. I don't know.
Get a color wheel. Throw it up.
Yeah.
That would probably work better. That sounds like great.
I'm gonna be like I'm gonna do Roman numerals. Be like I, IV, XII. Wait, that's 13. Shit.
You know what? I mean, if people start calling you out to be toxic, like it's not ironic anymore.
No. Yeah.
You little shit. You're being toxic.
What are you talking about? I thought you were just spitballing ways to fit to.
Ways to be an asshole.
I can absolutely do 2 through 10, and if somebody doesn't understand doing 1 through 9, they only understand doing 2 through 10 because it's a clock, then that's just what I'll do. It's fine. My brain is evolved enough to be able to handle that.
I really don't think anybody does 2 through 10 on the third encounter. Right?
Well, according to Twitter, they sure fucking do.
Yeah, I don't think so. That's like people that say that you should be shot for eating pineapple on pizza, when in reality they might not like it, but they don't care. But for some reason, everybody makes a big deal about it. I guarantee half the people that lose their fucking mind over that probably eat pineapple on their pizza. They just, I don't know, lose their mind for the sake of losing their mind. And this is the same shit.
That's
it's just
true.
a different way. I bet Glad doesn't even count in clock, but he's just like, you know what? It's a clock. Fuck y'all.
It is Twitter, and you are out there for impressions. So
yeah,
it's an impression game. I bet Bebo could handle 2 through 10 if he had to on the fly. He wouldn't like it, but he could do it.
No,
I would, but
Bebo
I
can't
just
count.
wouldn't do it out of like matter of pride. Just because I'd be like, I'm not doing 2 through 10. So
that's ironic. Out of all the things you won't do because of pride, that's the one.
It's because it's a matter of principle. All right. So
I didn't realize you had
clearly 1
standards.
through 9. Yeah, no. People have to learn, and they have to adjust. All right. That's
All right, I believe you.
Evo's way or the highway. That's what he's saying.
We got to get off or out of here. Okay, so there ain't nothing else I want to talk about.
Is there even an animal picture in here?
No animal pictures because I don't know. God save us, DMG, please, for the love of God, save us from these shitty twid writers that don't put animal pictures in the fucking twid. Johnny, you're obsessed. There's some known issues, but I don't care. Wait, hold on. What does this say?
The list is significantly less than it was last week.
Yeah. What does this say though? The mode of light drops from cough, ticks, taken by the
boss,
witness, may be flung from the boss on defeat, resulting in it not appearing directly where they fell. Oh, okay. Yeah, make sure to check around, I guess, if it gets flung across the fucking room.
I think I had to do it twice for it to drop. That was the
Nah,
last one I
It's
was
inconsistent. Some
maybe.
people are having that, but not everybody.
Well, did it drop or did it just get flicked across the map and then you couldn't find it?
I don't fucking know. I just did it twice and it gave me the exotic
What's the
emote, and
the
I was like,
boss?
cool beans.
Cough ticks.
It's the meatball on the blooming.
Is that the meatball
was-
still?
Yeah. It's the one that was disabled and then
Because it was before it was eating all your motes of light.
60. If it was your last, if it was the one you,
It was only eating it if your inventory was full.
it was eating it if you had 16 motes and that was the last boss
last
you needed
one.
to clear for the 17.
But you also
would
had to
be-
have your inventory also had to be full.
Oh, well. I
That's
didn't
why
know
it was
that,
only
but-
happening to some people. People with full
Then
inventories.
Why would you try and get that with a full inventory? Who has a full inventory?
Because
You
it
just
should
start-
take your 16 motes of light, eat them, and then give
No, I-
you the exotic. But what it was doing was it was taking your 16 motes of light,
eating them and not
eating them,
deleting
and,
that
and
getting
then
it.
deleting the exotic because it still thought your inventory was full.
Listen, Bebo. Some people, if you look at their inventory screen, they still have weapon parts in there. They've never deleted. So, somebody one time unironically told me that those weapon parts have sentimental value for them.
Yeah, it's like people's ramen ticket.
So,
I made Archie sad. I deleted all that shit as soon as I got it.
and regarding
Dog.
Kavastov,
his
let's
own
be
shit.
honest. More people are having way bigger issues with getting the encryption bits, not realizing they need them the first time they go through the cyst, and having to do the cysts 2 or 3 times
a pain
over
in
to
the
get them
fucking dick, I'll
than
tell
they
you
are
that.
with the modes. Anyway,
It's a pain in
That's
the dick.
what happened to me. It's funny. I did those missions, and I actually thought they were awesome. Like most of them, I was like, "Wow, these are fun little missions."
Have you
like,
not done the moth one?
yeah,
bro?
I've done them all.
That is the most infuriating mission I've ever done in Destiny.
Oh.
put on
The
a
moth
put on
mission?
put on something with arc
Yeah,
conductor
I know what you're talking about.
and some arc protection surge, some arc resistance, and go on your way. No problem.
I never had any
have-
trouble with it. I don't know. I
I've
don't know.
never actually raged in a Destiny mission. Like, not a solo flawless, not this. That fucking mission, bro, I slammed my desk. I was so fucking mad at those stupid ass moths, bro. Like, oh my god, I was fucking furious.
You really didn't. Phonics saying he didn't like them. You know, they were so cool. They were just such little different things. I thought it was super neat. You had the one with the swords, it was really neat. Then you had the moth-filled cavern. Then you had the one with the fucking giant eye that was burning you if you weren't in the shadows.
I mean, they're all
It was
right,
they were
yeah.
they were so unique though. Like we weren't seeing those types of little things anywhere, in my opinion, like anywhere else in the game. And I was just like, oh, these are really fun. The first time I did them, I was like, these are really fun. They're really cool. They're unique. They're interesting.
We had that kind of thing with Ascendant challenges, but they were longer format and there weren't,
It's funny you mentioned they're unique because there's like 2 of them in the same place. It's like 3 different places, and there's 2 missions per place. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
but
Is there another place in Destiny where you have to hide in the shadows so you don't burn alive?
I mean, there's a mission.
yeah,
There's a
the
strike.
What strike?
Actually, 2 strikes. Now there's not,
The
but
Prison
Warden of
Eldar
Nothing.
strike.
The Warden of Nothing has that mechanic. If you let the boss live
Oh my god.
and don't nuke him, and the strike that used to be on the reef, the twin boss that was the high
Yeah,
blizzard
the one that
went
doesn't
from-
exist anymore. That doesn't
Yeah.
count.
So that was the same mechanic. Listen, if
It's-
we're talking
it's-
about originality and recycling mechanics, all right, recycling mechanics has to go into it. Their little Eye of Sauron is not entirely new, but in terms of having a whole room centering around that mechanic, yes, it was new and was.
I
good.
think it's completely different than the Prison of Elders guy. He's I don't know. To me, it felt different. It felt a lot different. To me, I feel like I'm hiding behind a wall, and then the other one, I feel like I'm hiding in shadows. I know it's the same thing, but it's like I don't know. It felt unique to me. And then the Moth Cavern. I mean, not entirely unique because the moths were everywhere, but in Witch Queen. But I don't know. It felt cool. It was dark. You could see they illuminated the way, and they were everywhere trying to murder you. I can't even remember some of the other ones. One of them was pretty boring. The ogre, where you just had to kill the hive guardians. Boo, lame.
I'm not going to enjoy the moth-infested caverns when I go back into the time trial. That's going to be a little annoying, I think. But
That's what I was trying to do today. That's why I didn't have
That's why you're raging. Okay, well, who cares about the time trials?
it's a triumph, man.
for the title.
I don't care. But is it for the final shape title, like prismatic? Okay, I never do those titles, so have fun. I still don't have my Beyond Light, Shadowkeep, Witch Queen, Lightfall, or obviously this one.
He doesn't like them because you can't guild them.
I don't like them because there's always something stupid on them that I don't want to do. Like the break thing for Beyond Light, dumb. I didn't like finding there's collectibles. What collectibles are there in Witch
The
Queen?
toys, the
Like-
action figures.
Yeah, no,
Like
I'm not
No,
interested.
Witch Queen, that's-
Whatever they are, but
It's the moths.
the Lucent Moth. That's it. Yeah, fuck those things. Not interested in looking for those. Lightfall, I don't know. That expansion just sucked, so I didn't do any of the any of the triumphs for that. Shadowkeep sucked. Didn't do the triumphs. I never did any of the the nightmare shit for Shadowkeep. Like I never even touched it when the game came out. Didn't care. Fuck Shadowkeep, it was terrible. I barely played Shadowkeep. I hated Shadowkeep. I played all the seasonal stuff, but I didn't play anything in Shadowkeep itself other than the main story. I stayed away from all that stuff. What are we missing here? No, that's all of them. Yeah, I don't have any of those seals. Not one of them.
Okay.
And Forsaken didn't have one. So,
That did. Have one for the Dreaming City.
oh, did it?
Did you do the one for Dreaming City?
Well, no, probably not. Oh no, I definitely didn't because I never did the eggs. Fucking stupid. Fucking stupid. I hate that shit. Don't give a shit.
Meanwhile,
Collectibles,
Meanwhile,
suck my
this
ass.
motherfucker is playing Far Cry, and he is searching like this little house that's next to a river and a boat, trying to find some little stupid doll that's hidden somewhere in there for 45 minutes.
Listen, I have never platinumed a Far Cry game, so get out of my house.
He tells us all the time, I hate Triumph Float in these other games because I feel like I have to do them all. Not Destiny. Fuck that shit.
I have to do those triumphs to get a platinum trophy. That's what I want. I've already got my Destiny platinum trophy, so they can go suck my nut.
All right.
Fuck Destiny. We gotta finish.
All right,
This
we're
is
rambling.
too
Wrap
long.
this shit up.
Yeah. Okay. Do
Single
we?
nut? Wait, is that
Wait.
just breezing over that one? Just
What?
single nut or?
Reason over what?
Oh yeah, my left nut.
Oh, I thought you were just.
If you give them both, it's considered cheating.
Oh, okay.
Not if you have socks on. Not if you have socks.
That's a weird. That's weird.
Hawk. All right, let's go.
Jesus Christ. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching episode 67 of This Week is Shrouded. We had a lot of fun. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Once again, if you're on Twitch, YouTube, or podcast, or your favorite podcast services, we're everywhere. Feel free to look us up on whatever you prefer. If you play Destiny and you're not in the Shrouded Gaming community, you should definitely check us out. ShroudedGaming.com/Discord. We've got lots of clans. We love playing Destiny. We love helping people with raids and dual Destiny, even if we argue over which mechanics that you have to use.
I'm not an elitist, and I will do 2 through 10 if that's all you know.
Nobody wants to do 2 through 10. I don't believe it. Once again, they're the pineapple people. Anyway, I appreciate it. I was your host, AGreener. This was Bebo and Mister Wrecked. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching, and stay awesome. Until next week. Peace.
What the fuck, Bungie?